This is Michelle Hobb with the Meadowlark Special Programs. I am thrilled to be coming to you today again for our second Memory and Engagement Opportunities for Wellness. Thank you for joining me today, and let's get started. So, just to get things started off right here, the purpose of this opportunity is first and foremost to get you to engage and attend. Our brain needs to be able to engage and attend in order for us to remember things. If we can't focus on something, we're not going to be able to process it into immediate memory and then short term memory and eventually long term memory. So, practicing these opportunities to engage and attend is our first step. Also, I want you to be thinking about some things, doing some things a little differently. Processing. I want you to grab some paper and a pencil today because you will have some things to write down. And then also you'll have some homework in which I want you to be able to remember throughout the course of our week what you need to be working on next. I love to smile. I love to try to make people laugh. I love to laugh myself. And we all know laughing is a good thing for our soul and our body and our brain. Also, we'll be moving and working on breathing today. So let's get started. So last week, we had our first session and gave you a little bit of homework. So I just want to review very quickly what we did and hopefully what you continued to do throughout the course of last week. And we worked on breathing in for 3 seconds and out for 3 seconds. We're going to address this again today. We also worked on using sensory words to help describe objects. So how do you tell somebody something? How do you describe what it is you're thinking of when that word is stuck on the tip of your tongue? And we talked about this last week and using things to help us, like, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? And what does it taste like? So those are some key descriptors that you can use in your work throughout the day, throughout the week, in trying to describe things. So look, sound, feel, smell, and taste like. Those are your cues to go through with those objects. And here's where I want you to grab that paper and pencil. So if you didn't do all of these last week, I want you to work on this week. So jot down pancakes, bed, shirt, wagon, tree, sandwich, chair, sock, and cinnamon, and jumping jack. So what you're going to do with those words is then to use those sensory words that we were talking about to help you describe these objects and one action, one exercise. So take a second, jot those down. Your other homework was for you to be thinking about moving multiple times a day. We want to think about our brain as a muscle. It's just like any other muscle if you want to think of it that way. What's good for the heart is good for the brain. Lots of research telling us that the more we move, the better our brain is able to work. So walking, doing calf races, marching, cleaning, any of those tasks, doing laundry, daily activities, gardening can be really great for you to work on moving and getting your muscles and your brain engaged. And then, of course, staying connected. And this will continue to be an exercise. So calling or writing a letter to a friend or a family member. In this time of physical isolation, we have to really think about being more intentional in our communication with people. And that's part of why I want you to work on these like tip of the tongue type of exercises with me, because the less we are engaged with people, the less we're talking. And it's like any other skill that if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's one of the main goals for these MEOW sessions that we have, the memory and engagement opportunities here. So, starting again with a walk down memory lane. So, Saturday, April 11th, 2020 is National Pet Day. I think it's interesting to think about pets. It's always fun. I think it makes most people smile. Some people cringe a little bit when it comes to pets. But Webster's definition is a domesticated animal kept for pleasure rather than utility. We, as Americans in particularly, have a lot of pets. Um, Most people, there's a lot of differing actual numbers. I was going to report some real numbers for you, but depending on who's doing the surveys, whether it's a pet product company versus the census, lots of ranges in the actual amount of pets that people have. But we all have either had one or know someone who has a pet. So, what are the benefits of having a pet? I'm sure you can all think of a few things. Obviously, from the brain and health perspective, we're going to tell you that having a pet is good for you because it can help you be more active. Particularly with dogs, you need to get the dogs out and walk them, take them to the bathroom, bend down and clean up. So, you're getting a good range of opportunities to move when you have a pet. They have also been shown to decrease stress and anxiety and sometimes even depression in individuals. This can obviously be a real benefit, especially again in these times of more physical isolation. Another reason that I think pets are a really good thing for us is that it helps us to stay more scheduled and on a more of a structure and scheduled timeline. You know that your cats, your dogs, your birds, whatever it is, they are going to let you know when they need to use the bathroom or when they need their litter box cleaned or when they're hungry or thirsty. And those types of things can help you maintain that structure and that schedule. So I think those are some really important things why pets are a help to our population. So now it's time to discuss your memory of a pet. So take a few minutes to either jot down again with your paper a memory that you might have with a pet, or if you have someone in your apartment or in your room with you, feel free to share a little bit about a memory of living with a pet or a pet encounter. All right. And so obviously, I'm not giving you a lot of time here to do that, but please come back to that after you're done watching this. I also wanted to just share a little bit of my personal experience with you guys. These are my boys and our pets. Our dog Cortana is almost 2 years old. She was a rescue dog. Kind of a funny story, funny, sad, I guess. They said at the shelter that she was unadoptable. And I can guarantee you that she is anything but unadoptable, as you can see her being so lovable with our oldest boy, Trey. And then the picture of Truman, our youngest, he's there with Boston or Boston Bill, named after the famous Boston Marathon runner, Boston Bill. He is actually 18 years old, our cat, and unfortunately, he's not in quite as good a health as he appears in this picture, but he is quite a fighter. So, yeah, these are the loves of our lives, both dogs, cats, and boys. All right, so moving right along, we will be working on some breathing. So, the importance of breathing is multifaceted. Obviously, number one, it's a very important thing to do. Number two, it can help to relieve and reduce some stress and anxiety. Focusing on that diaphragmatic breathing can decrease those feelings and those chemicals that are exhibited with not as good and controlled breathing. Also, the other reason for this is that it helps us to focus. I talked earlier in this session about if you're not able to attend and focus on something, you're not going to be able to remember it. So if there's something that you're really needing to remember or you really want to remember, check your breathing first. Make sure that your breathing is intact and that you're truly engaged in your body so that you can focus and attend on what it is that you want to remember. Also, of course, it's getting some more oxygen to your brain. So let's get started. So we're going to place our hands on our belly, if you will, just underneath the rib cage. You can also take your thumbs behind you so that you can really feel that full expansion of out all the way around your lower belly here. So we're breathing in through our nose, and then we're going to exhale through our mouth to really get rid of all of that. So when we breathe in, we really want to get big, expanding that diaphragm and that belly. And then when we exhale through pursed lips, we want to really contract. A lot of times when I'm working on voice, I'll talk about this as when we breathe in, we want a really big beer belly. And then when we breathe out, we want that skinny beach belly. So that's how we're going to think about it today. So we're going to breathe in for 3 and out for 3. So here we go, breathing in. And in, 2, 3, out. In, 2, 3. In, 2, 3. In, 2, 3. Good. Very nice. Okay. So today I want to push you just a little bit more too. So we're going to actually try to exhale for that 6 seconds. So again, breathing in through the nose and really expanding that lower diaphragm, and then pushing out a little more controlled because we want to make it for the full 6 seconds. So here we go again, placing our hands just below the rib cage so you can feel that expansion and the push when on your exhale. So you're breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Okay, so hopefully that felt good and comfortable. One check when you work on this for your homework, I do encourage you to watch yourself in a mirror. Even recording myself here, I can't really see what I'm doing, so it's important to make sure that you're not using those shoulders. Those shoulders are nice and pulled back and in a relaxed posture. The only thing that's changing shape here is our diaphragm and our face. So practice that in a mirror if you can for your homework. Marching, seated or standing. So you might ask, why are we doing this in a memory class? Well, one of the big reasons is that we have a lot of time that we're sitting around. All of us have a lot of time that we're sitting around. And so as I mentioned earlier, what's good for the heart is good for the brain. So I want to take every opportunity we can to get a little bit of movement, get that heart rate going a little bit, get those muscles moving, and get those lungs pumping. So we're going to just start with marching. So I want you to move those feet, those legs, those arms. And we're just marching here. And you can smile, of course, because it always feels good to smile. And sometimes I talk about how you can make those hands do a little bit more too. So we're going to try adding in a couple different things today. And the reason for that is because we want to make things more complicated. We're challenging our brain and our muscles at the same time. Our brain gets more benefit. So that's what we're going to try to do a little more. All right. Just a little bit more here. Hopefully you're still smiling. All right, the next thing I want you to do is march with high, slow knees. So I want you to bring those knees up. We're just going to do a few of these. So you're really pulling those knees up, trying to get them up as high as you can off the floor. And we're moving those arms opposite the legs, just like we did when we were marching. Okay. Then our next exercise you'll see there is short, fast feet. So instead of those high, they're going to be low, would have been probably a better word. And we're just going to keep our arms still for this. So it's like we're running that race, doing maybe the 100-yard dash, going as fast as you can, and those feet aren't getting up very far. Okay? All right. So then what we're going to do is add in slow arms with that. So even though our feet are going fast, I want the arms to go slow. So let's get those feet going again. Good. Don't forget about that smile. And then we're going to make our arms go slow. So we've got two different tasks that we're doing here. We're doing small, fast feet and slow arms. Good. You can hear even my feet are probably going a little off kilter here. Okay. All right. Now we're going to combine it. So we have to be thinking in terms of numbers and counting as well. So we're going to do high, slow knees for 4. 4. Then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then high knees. Whoops. See, I went opposites. 3, 4. Short, fast feet, but keep those arms going slow. And 4 seconds. Then we go back to high, slow. 3, 4. Then short. 1, 2, 3, 4. And high, slow. 3, 4. And fast with slow arms. 3, 4. One more. High. 2, 3, 4, and fast. 2, 3, 4. Very good. All right. Woo, my heart rate's getting up there. Okay, so our last exercise here we're going to do are toe taps. So I just want you to kind of step off to the side. So you're tapping those toes out on the side. So you're elongating. I know it's probably kind of hard. Maybe if I stand up, you just stretch the leg out there. Tap that toe onto the side. Okay? All right. Tapping out. Then we're going to add in a new step. So then we're going to step and cross. Okay? So it's as if you're reaching cross body to that toe. Good. Make those muscles work. Don't forget about that smile. Although you might be frowning at me by now. All right. One more cognitive component. Keep that feet. Keep those arms. Then we're going to say an alphabet. Say the alphabet. Each letter as we go. Starting left. A. B. C. D. E. F. G, H, I, J, K, L, M. And we'll stop on M for Michelle there. So you can jot these things down as well. These are great things to just do throughout the day to help you make your brain, make your body and muscles work together. All right. Woo! We are warmed up and ready to go. So, on the tip of my tongue, we're going to spend a couple weeks talking about this because this is a really big phenomenon, if you will. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's there. I know it is. I'll think about it at 3 o'clock in the morning, or it comes out when I wasn't thinking about it, or I was so close. I almost described it, but it just wouldn't come. Very common. So, what do you do when this happens? Number 1, stay calm. Anxiety triggers, and stress and frustration triggers hormones in the brain that make it even harder for you to remember and think of the words. So stay calm. And remember, everybody has this happen. Use gestures. If if you can't think of the word you want, try to make your hands or your body depict what it is that you want to say. Describe it. This is the big thing we're working on right now. We did last week some, and we're continuing on this week. Keep trying. Just like with communication in general or exercise, anything, if you stop, you don't try, you're not going to get anywhere. So keep working on it. Okay, so word finding exercise. So here's what I want you to think about. When we're working on trying to describe words, we want to think about some specific things. So we talked about some sensory descriptors already, but these are some more things that can really help you to come up with the words that you're looking for. And if nothing else, it can help your listener better understand what it is that you're trying to describe. And maybe they'll come up with the word as well. So thinking about the function or the use. What do you do with this item? How is it used? What's its purpose? That is always kind of my go-to, the first thing that I'm going to ask someone when I'm trying to get them to come up with the word that they're thinking of. The other one you see there are the parts or the pieces. Well, what is it? What does it have on it or in it? What are the pieces of this thing that you're thinking of? What are the materials? What's it made of? Is it a cloth? Is it a metal? Is it a wood? What are the things that make this object or item be? What's the shape? What's it look like? Is it round? Is it square? Is it a hexagon? What's the size? Small, big, minuscule? What is the size of this thing? And where would I find it? The where would I find it might actually even be better to try to think of earlier in this scenario. But these are all very key targets, if you will, to help you describe what it is that you are thinking of. So let's practice one. So leash. Talking about pets, let's talk about what we've got here. So a leash. So if I were to grab my leash for my dog here, for Cortana, what would I say? Okay, so I need to go get that thing. I got to get that thing because I want to go with Court. I need something, right? Then I would say, oh yeah, the use of it. Okay, so it helps me keep control of her on a walk, right? That's its function. That's its purpose. It's made of cloth and it's made of metal. The parts or the pieces would be a hook, a handle, and a long strap. What shape is it? Well, it's got mostly just a long strip of cloth. I skipped the material also would be some cloth or rope. The size of it, well, it's about 5-6 feet long, right? That one's not always quite so easy to describe. And where would I find it? Well, I would find it in, hanging on a hook or in a closet. I would find it on a dog. So those are the kinds of things that you would use and how you might describe to help somebody, or how you might try to think of describing when you are talking with someone. If you are a care partner for someone who's struggling with word finding, think about asking these types of questions. Well, where do you find it? What does it look like? What are the parts? What are the pieces of it? So if we tried another one, again, sticking within our pet theme, if we looked at a fence, okay, well, the primary purpose or function is to contain something within a certain space. Okay, so that would be our function, right? It's to keep something in. In this case, it would be to keep a dog from running away outside. What are the materials? It's made of either metal or wood, now even some other carbon fiber or other types of materials that hold up a little bit better than the wood. The pieces of it, right? It's going to have probably a gate or a latch. It's going to have panels. It's going to have poles. The shape, that one's tricky. Well, part of the pieces are going to be square. Some might be round if we're talking about like the poles. So again, it's going to be made of different, or the size and shape are going to be different. And then where would I find it? Well, I'd probably find it in a backyard, or I might find it on the side of a house. So those are the words and how I would go about describing this to someone. And then another great one that we can practice with here. Take just a second and practice this with your partner, or just jot down your ideas. So soap, very common. We need it for our pets. We need it now in this time of our world crisis as well. So look at the words on the left and take just a minute to describe soap. Okay. And then another one that you can describe is book. Okay, so go ahead and jot down soap and book, and then you can come back to those words later. So again, describing by its function or use. Make sure you're writing these cues down so you can practice these. Materials, what are they made of? The parts or pieces, the shape, the size, and the location. Where am I going to find this? Or where do I store this? Or where would I get this? All right, I'm going to give you a few more words that I want you to write down so that you can practice. This will be part of your homework for this week. So television, describing using the words on the left, a television. And again, when you do this, what I want you to think about is it's almost like you're playing, like a Pictionary type of game, except obviously a charades with words, or a Pictionary with words, where you're trying to get someone to figure out what it is you're talking about by using the descriptors that you see on the left. So the next one then is balcony, bus, restaurant, and phone. Okay, so those are your homeworks. Those are your homeworks. Good English there, Michelle. So this is your homework. Jotting down television, balcony, bus, restaurant, and phone, and using those words on the left to describe. All right, so I hope that gave you some good things to think about. Each week, I just want you to try something new, a new way to think about describing or doing other things. As we progress through the weeks, we're going to try some more things. We'll do some memory things, some memory strategies, specific activities. But I wanted to start out with some communication because, again, we're just not talking to people like we normally do. And so we need to practice this type of communication. So your homework, I want you to do this every day until next week when I get to see you again. Find some time to attend to each task. Okay, so write your descriptions for soap, balcony, bus, restaurant, all those ones we just had on the last slide. And then I want you to work on your breathing exercises. So you're breathing in for 3 and out for 3. And go ahead and try to work on that 6-second exhale this week. And then I also want you to work on moving every day, walking, marching, cleaning, gardening. Do something. Keep moving. Make your body move. Make your brain and your lungs stay strong as well. And stay connected. So this was one last week, but I think it's really important to make sure that we're really focusing every day on calling or writing someone, making that personal connection, making that effort to stay engaged and stay connected with those people who you love and want to keep in touch with. So I hope you enjoyed this session of MEOW. And we're going to finish on some things to laugh with, because again, I think laughing is very important for the soul and for the body. So here's a little video. And we'll probably have the
Need a professional website? I created one for our startup using Wix. Let me show you how I did it. First, go to Wix.
Right about now. So here are some funny pet